Let's play word association. I say delegate, you think cop out, not worth the energy, I wish. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to give you not only the tools to enable you to delegate effectively, but the insight into why delegation is important for you to do so you can feel good about doing it. This is going to empower you to get on with the work that's actually a priority for your role and start getting recognised for the valuable contribution that you're making. I'm Charlotte, a career performance coach working globally with ambitious professionals and the next generation of leaders to help them develop the skills and the confidence they need to see the career progression and satisfaction that they deserve, while paving the way for a better and healthier working culture for those around them. If you like what I'm sharing today, don't forget to hit subscribe so you get notified when the next video drops. If you're interested in working with me directly, then you can visit my website, details below, to find out more. So let's get into it. I think it's safe to say we've all had experiences of managers delegating something to us in a way that actually means offloading something they don't want to do onto our plate, whether we like it, it's good for our development, in our job description or not. It's probably also safe to say that we've experienced asking someone to do something for us to later find out that it hasn't been done well, or at all. All this can definitely leave us with a sour taste and one of two common beliefs about delegation. 1, people delegate as a cop-out for things that they don't want to do. And 2, delegating isn't worth the time it takes to explain something to someone because you'll end up having to do it yourself anyway. Both very fair and understandable points based on experience and evidence that we've built around it. So I get it. But I'm going to give you the flip side. See if it changes your mind. Delegating is good for us. It gives us experience in leadership, mentoring, it helps our communication skills, it builds our resilience and confidence to provide feedback, and by giving instructions and watching the results, it highlights our blind spots, things we do on autopilot or things we really should be thinking about earlier on. It also frees up our time and our attention to focus on other priorities or working on something that truly nobody else could do, allowing us to shine in our zone of genius. Delegating is also good for the recipient. By giving somebody less experienced an opportunity to work on something outside of their day-to-day, you're exposing them to tasks and activities that will stretch their ability or allow them to prove themselves. In allowing somebody to step up, you're sending a message of trust and confidence, of hope and motivation for them to excel. Even if the task itself seems mundane, you're allowing them to step into a world they want to eventually move into. So at the very least, you're giving them a heads up on what it's going to be like. One specific scenario when delegation is really key but often underutilized is when the task is something that you used to do, but you don't anymore. Imagine you see your boss struggling with something that's your absolute zone of genius. You're just bursting to tell them you can help. And not that you'd say it, but you also know for sure that you could do a better job than they could in half the time. Now imagine if they actually brought it to you. Recognise that very fact and acknowledge that they know how much you're capable of and ask for your help. What kind of opportunities does that bring you? How does that feel? Turn your focus now to your workload and the team that supports you. If you used to be, for example, a project coordinator but now you're a manager, or you were a manager but now you're the team leader or director, consider when a task or project lands on your plate that you know how to do, and let's be honest, you kind of like the idea of doing it again. It reminds you of a simpler time, something you knew you were good at. How often in that scenario do you say, it will be easier if I just do this myself? That approach is not going to help you do your job better, and it's not going to build a competent, trusting team around you. Taking the I'll do it myself approach is what's keeping you stuck, surrounded by a team of people you don't trust and who are probably feeling pretty frustrated with their own progress and job satisfaction too. By delegating something that is someone else's area of expertise, you're telling them, hey, I see you. When we delegate things that aren't moving the needle for us, but could be moving the needle for somebody else, it's a win-win situation. You've cleared your plate to focus on the priority for your role and your progression, and you've given somebody else a step on the ladder that will help them with theirs too. But beware, delegate poorly and you'll be setting yourself up to fail. Delegate without much thought or time to see it through, and you'll continue to build evidence that it's not actually a viable option, when actually it could be just what you need. Follow these 4 golden rules to set yourself and your team up for success. Delegate to the right people. Think first about who your options are. Do they have capacity? Is this an appropriate opportunity for them? And do they have the right skills and attitude to do a great job for you? Know what the process is and give them the information they need to succeed. Run through the steps yourself and pick out any blind spots. Better yet, have the process as an SOP, even if nobody else usually sees it, so you can avoid mistakes of your own and save time when handing over to somebody else. If you do this properly the first time, you might not even need to do it again. Communicate your expectations. What do you want to see? What are the signs of quality and correctness? When do you want to review it? And then how and when are you going to check in to make sure things are on track or give feedback? Don't just dump and run. Just because you're moving the production of the work off your plate, the responsibility is still yours. You can free up 90% of the time it would have taken you, but protect that 10% to set yourself and your team up for success. Be available for questions, set reasonable deadlines, and give helpful feedback to steer the delivery so no one winds up disappointed. You set the tone for your expectations when you give people the heads up that you'll be reviewing and feeding back. And in setting these boundaries, you're giving people a sense of accountability to deliver a higher quality of work because they know firstly what you're expecting, and secondly that you're there and that you're invested enough to help them succeed. In addition, when your team knows there are regular opportunities to step up and help you out that are worthwhile to them, their overall motivation and quality of work will improve in their bids to be the chosen one. That means that they'll ask if they need to, which means that you know you can get on with what you need to be doing without worrying. Finally, use your time wisely. Don't delegate something off your plate and then procrastinate. Shift that self-doubt or imposter syndrome guilt by making sure your own priorities are in order so you have a firm foundation for why you're delegating in the first place. Then, dedicate time to focus on that while allowing some time for support so it doesn't stress you out if questions do come your way. When done correctly, delegating has the power to create huge motivation within a team, as well as driving up the quality of work and improving productivity. So why not use it? Start creating a standout reputation for yourself and your team today by embracing these perspectives and implementing these tools for successful delegating. If you want to know more about how to implement feel-good, sustainable delegation practices and lead your team with confidence, get in touch with me today. All the details are below. Thank you so much for joining me today. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.